Hey guys, I want to talk to you today about a dynamic that I've seen play out in my own personal relationships at various points in time. And I've also seen a lot of peers of mine go through this same thing and deal with in their relationships. And at the end of the day, I've gone through years of dealing with what I'm about to talk about, and I'm sure there's a lot of other folks out there, men and women both alike, that are doing the same right now, or that will do this at some point, or deal with it rather. And the message of the day is really just that this is just to realize this is completely unacceptable in a healthy relationship. And there are some times and cases where this might be like an incurable problem or something that won't be fixed anytime soon, or maybe will never be fixed no matter what you do as a partner in this relationship. And it's really just maybe to call somebody's attention out there to thinking about moving on if this is something you're dealing with and this is something that you're going through, because it's not a healthy way to be in a relationship, and it's not fair to you to have to deal with this. And what I'm talking about specifically is this concept of guilt by association. So that means that you have not done anything wrong, you've committed no crime, you've done no ill anything like towards the other person, but just by virtue of the fact that you are who you are. And the example that I'm going to give you is just by virtue of the fact that you're the opposite sex, right? It casts you into this guilty light, and you're treated in such a fashion, unfortunately. So it's almost like you're being punished and penalized and treated in a certain way as if you've already done something wrong when you haven't done anything. And the example that I'm going to point to today is if you're in a relationship with somebody that, let's say they'd been cheated on several times before in their past. What I've found is that a lot of times people hold on to those things, and they just sort of grow into this mentality that, well, all men cheat. That's just, been my experience in life, and, that's just how it is, and that's just the way that my brain works now and thinks. And so therefore, they take this mentality from these past experiences they've had, and they cast it onto you. And just by the fact that, once again, like, you are a man now in this situation, and like I said, you might have never done anything remotely close to cheating on this person. They just look at you as like somebody that's already guilty and somebody that's going to cheat on them or has cheated on them, and they treat you in a different way as a result of this. And like I said, I've seen both men and women go through this. I've had a lot of friends of mine that are girls that have dealt with this exact same thing. And it's just such an unhealthy dynamic to have to deal with in any relationship. And like I said, it's not fair to you. And I think, ironically enough, like, those of us that are on this opposite side of the coin, like opposing this other person that, once again, has had this past of being cheated on or infidelity or whatever, like, you're trying to, like, do the right thing. You're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. You're trying to, like, show them, like, hey, not all men are bad and cheaters, or not all women, go out and cheat and do different things. And you're like, you end up, like, hanging in these situations a lot longer than you probably should. And like I said, you give these people leeway, unfortunately, for days or months or years, or maybe your entire life. You go through something like this, like having to deal with this dynamic. And I just want to communicate that, after I was in a situation that I feel like this was a very big issue that never got resolved, or it never it was never, at the end of the day, in my opinion, going to be something that was rectified. So 2.5 years I went through this dynamic from day one till the very last day. It was the same dynamic, but I was involved with a woman that, unfortunately, she did have a very rough past with men, like starting with her father and a lot of her adult relationships. Like, she had been through a lot of hurt and a lot of pain, and I felt sincerely bad for that. But I just got to this point of realization that, like, no matter how good of a guy that I was, or how awesome of a partner I was to her, and that was the reality. I really walked away from that relationship feeling that I did my absolute best, and I treated this person like gold, and I tried to, once again, instill in them that, like, hey, not all men in this world are bad and are going to do the same things that your father and your past man relationships had done to you. But it was just it was this insurmountable element in this situation that I figured at the end of the day that I had to walk away. That was a big part of the end of that relationship in my life. And maybe some of you out there have been through this, like I said, or you're going through this right now, but I just want to stress to you, when you recognize that you're in a situation where you've been proven guilty, like simply by the fact of association, so i.e. like just because you're a man or just because you're a woman, or this example could go far beyond just infidelity and cheating. I mean, there's many things that humans go through in life that they carry with them, and then they project onto their next partners, and they cast them guilty, as I say, by association for any number of reasons. This is just, it's not acceptable. And like I said, I just want to instill upon you that, you know, no matter what you do as the quote unquote good person, the good-willed, you know, other side of this relationship, like, you cannot fix this person no matter what you do. It's incumbent upon themselves to deal with their past and deal with their mental and emotional issues. And the sad truth is, like I said, that it's like there's no magic wand that you can wave, or you can never be like a nice enough person to them, or a caring enough person to truly right these wrongs, I think, that have happened in our lives. And I want to believe that, you know, a lot of times, sure, these other people can deal and cope and hopefully get over those hurts and pains from the past and learn to not project them onto you or to bring them into the relationship. But it's just up to you to decide, you know, how long you've been dealing with this, how long you're willing to put into it after you recognize this is going on. And of course, like, hopefully this is something you would talk about with, you know, your partner about, and communicate, you know, this notion to them. And like I said, sadly enough, like, you might say the words, and you might, you know, do a good job of communicating this concept to them, but still, at the end of the day, I've just found that a lot of people, like, even that, like, it's just not enough to help them, or to force them, let's say, to get over that past and what they're bringing into the present relationship, no matter how good it is. It's just this, like I said, this guilt by association is such a big factor. And if you find yourself with one of these people that just can't let go, and it just continues to treat you as if you've done something wrong to them solely by the fact of association, you're a man, you're a woman, you're this, you're that, you're whatever kind of person, it's probably time for you to go. It's probably time for you to leave, and that's the cold, hard truth about it. That's the sad truth, but it's what I've experienced in my lifetime, and I just look back in hindsight wishing that I hadn't burned up so much of my valuable time trying to, like, fix this type of dynamic or fix this type of person, because, like I said, at the end of the day, you can't do it. They have to do it. And it's great if you are with a person that has the wherewithal to do that. But like I said, you've just got to determine, like, what amount of time you're willing to give the situation to allow that to happen. So I hope that helps somebody out there. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll talk to you real soon.